Hello, hello, beautiful pearls. Hi, everyone out there. I hope everyone is doing great. I just made myself a cup of decaf coffee. I'm going to have a sip and I'm going to be with you for the rest of the time today. Today, we're going to be doing something very special. I'm going to be discussing or talking about a very interesting topic, the topic that has made me do what I do today. And at the very end, I want you to stick to the end because I have two things for you. I have the invitation that I always have an invitation for you at the end of each webinar. But I also want you to stick to the end because I am going to open it up for some questions. Now, you won't be able to go on camera, but I will take your questions either on the messages. Better to put them in the Q&A so that I don't miss any question. Because if you have messages, sometimes I might miss the messages. So just if you have any questions throughout the webinar, just write them in the Q&A and I will answer all the questions at the end of the webinar. So today, like I said, is very special because I'm going to be talking about whether we really have a choice in our life to decide about how to run our life, or whether our life is something that is imposed on us or something that, you know, comes to us from somewhere. God knows where, but, you know, somewhere. So I'm going to be talking about whether we run on autopilot or we have full control. And I want to give you full control, actually, because we don't run on autopilot. We do run on autopilot, unfortunately, but we want to change that. And when I say we run on autopilot, it's our own autopilot. It's an autopilot. It's not a pilot from somewhere out there. Before I go ahead and tell you everything about this, we're going to be together for around maybe 1 hour, maybe a little bit more if you have a lot of questions, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. And again, I want you to stick to the end so that you can hear that invitation and also get the answers to your questions. So before I tell you exactly, and I give you the tips and I tell you exactly how life runs, I want to share with you my story. And my story is, since I was little, I always remember people around me having this question. And look, I come from a culture that is unfortunately religiously driven in the wrong way. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against religion, but when it's done in the wrong way and the teachings are done also in the wrong way, I don't like it. So I used to hear people around me always say that we are not in control, or in Arabic, basically, for those of you who speak Arabic, I'm going to say it in Arabic, okay, and then I'm going to explain it. So the question used to always be, هل الإنسان مخير أم مسير? So if I want to translate it into like exact translation, it would mean are we as human beings, do we have the choice about our life, or is our life being led for us? That's exactly what it means. So this question was always in the back of my mind. It always triggered me. And I never heard an answer that was satisfying to me. I never heard an answer that was like, yeah, that's it, I agree. So for me, I was always looking for that answer. And one of the reasons why I do what I do today is the answer that I got, because the answer that I got was, no, we are not being led. We have the choices. We have all the choices in the world. You know, when we come to this earth, or when we come to this existence, we come knowingly and we come with a lot of knowledge, because our soul has got so much and it's carrying so much and it's been through so much. But when we reach this space that we are existing in right now, we come in the vessel of a child, right? And that vessel, that child, as they are growing up, they don't have, or we don't have the means to express ourselves. And what happens during our childhood is, because we are not able to express ourselves and we are only being subjected to everything that is happening around us, that information that we used to have, or that we have, it's still there, by the way, we just don't tap into it. But that information starts going deeper under the new layers of information that we are collecting from everything around us, from what we see, from what we hear, from what we learn, from what we are being told. So as children, when we grow up, what happens is that all the information that our soul has starts becoming, hidden in our subconscious mind, that we don't really know what sort of information we have until we start digging and understanding ourselves and understanding what it is that is really, really in there, So and this is exactly what happened with me. So when I was young, I was literally just being fed, like not fed, but fed with all the information, with all the subjects that are out there, with how my family lived, with how their family lived, with how my friends lived, with everything that I was subjected to as a child. This information became everything that I know. And then it became my own. I sort of made it my own. And all of this was happening without my conscious knowledge. So when we say, are we as human beings, do we have the choice, or are we being led? We are, until we discover that we're not. Let me tell you what I mean. As our, like, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. As we exist, we are here as this vessel, and this vessel has got also the mind, right? The brain and the mind. Our mind is a very fascinating thing. Our mind is really split into simply two, or actually three things. The conscious mind, which is when we are really conscious, like me right now talking to you, right? And the subconscious mind, which is 95% of the mind, basically, which is our body. That's how I would interpret it. That's how I've learned it from so many people, that they consider the subconscious mind is actually your body, because your organs are running on autopilot. Your system, everything that runs within your body is running on its own, is running on autopilot. So basically, that's why we consider the body to be the subconscious mind. And there's a third part that usually people don't talk about it much. And that third part is the analytical mind. So our conscious mind, our analytical mind, and our subconscious mind. The analytical mind is a very, very thin space between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And the analytical mind is where we have all those reasoning, the questioning. This is where we make our decisions. This is where this is where the choices are made, in the analytical mind. When we are in our consciousness, this is where we are learning. This is where we are having awareness. This is where, we know what is happening. This is consciousness. And we are in full control when we are in our conscious mind. When do we lose control? We lose control when we are in the subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind, which is our body, is definitely running on autopilot. Think about it. If you are to be running the systems of your body on a conscious level, do you think you will have the time to do it? Do you think you will have the power to do it? Do you think you will have the energy to do it? And this is why I started my words or my sentences by saying that our mind is a fascinating thing. It's a smart system because it made all these processes run in the background. You're going to think about it as a supercomputer, right? Our mind is literally a supercomputer. So whatever is running in our subconscious mind is running because it needs so much work to run if I want to do it consciously. And this is how smart my mind is, and your mind is, and everyone's mind is, to make these programs within our consciousness in our subconscious mind. These programs within our existence, let's say, run in our subconscious mind without us having to give them orders, right? So this is what happens in the subconscious mind. And when we are told that we are on autopilot, that's exactly what it means. When you are sitting in your subconscious mind and when everything is happening in the subconscious mind, this is happening on autopilot. You do not have control over it unless you choose to do so with your full awareness, with that 5% remaining, right? And this is when we start our self-development journey and our self-discovery journey, these are the first things that we start noticing, that there are lots of things that happen with us in our lives that we are not making the choice to make those things. We find ourselves subjected to situations where we really did not consciously want to have those things in our life. But the question is, did we want them on a subconscious level? Yes. The answer is yes, because we are like, this vessel is a ship. This is how you want to think about it. This vessel, it's a vessel, it's a ship. And you are the captain of that ship. You are the one who takes that ship left or right or center, right? So you want to have that control, and you do have that control. Now, whether you have it consciously or subconsciously, that's a different question. What happens with us as we grow, as we move in our life, we find we find that we are in a place where we are being led sometimes by the circumstances in our lives. The thing is, what you want to remember is circumstances are always going to happen. External circumstances are always going to happen. They're going to happen to you. They're going to happen to me. They're going to happen to everyone. The big question here is, how am I going to deal with that circumstance? How am I going to react to the circumstances that are coming to me from the outside world? That's just in case I was not the one causing that circumstance, because most of the time also we are causing the things that happen in our life, and we do it sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time we do it subconsciously. We don't really know that we are doing that. For example, if we are always having issues in our relationships, let's say, and these things never stop. Like, we finish a relationship, another one starts, and it's exactly the same thing. It happens exactly the same way, and the person leaves exactly the same way for the exact same reasons. There must be something that we are doing subconsciously to let this pattern happen. It does not happen like that because this is how the circumstances are. It is happening this way because this is what we are allowing to happen in our life. And we usually allow these things to happen for very specific reasons. Most of the time, all our experiences in life, they are our school, they are our lessons. This is what we learn from. This is what teaches us how to move forward, how to, you know, to build on things, how to respect, how to be grateful, how to be compassionate. Everything that we go through in life is to teach us something. And this is why we are here. As a soul, we are here to elevate. As a soul, we are here to learn more, to become more conscious, to become more aware, and to collect more awareness and information, and basically to collect more virtues. This is what our soul's mission is, to be virtuous, to collect all the possible virtues that exist out there so that we can elevate in our life. And as a soul, so that our soul itself can actually elevate. Now, as we go through life, what happens is, why is it that we run on autopilot? We run on autopilot because we are not aware of what's happening in that body of ours or in that subconscious mind. All that we know is that things happen around us. The only time we start knowing why things happen the way they happen is when we start questioning why things happen the way they happen. And when we ask this question, we start getting answers. And guess where the answers are coming from? The answers are actually coming from your subconscious mind. They're not coming from somewhere out there. They are coming from what you already know, from what your body already knows, from what your subconscious mind already knows. All the answers to all the questions that you think you might have in your life are actually there. The answers are there. You just want to know how to tap into them. You just want to know how to reach those questions or those answers. But also the questions, because for you to get to the answers, you want to ask the right questions. And most of the time, we don't ask the right questions. Like the questions that we ask, why does this keep happening to me? You know, the more you ask yourself this question this way, it's gonna keep on happening to you. A different way to ask yourself this question, instead of asking, why does this keep happening to me? You want to ask, what is it that I'm learning here? It's a very simple change, but it makes all the difference. Think about it. When you ask, why does this keep happening to me? Look, even when I'm asking the question, okay, my facial expressions, my sensation, my feelings are completely negative, right? So when I ask, why does this keep happening to me? Why me? You know, when we ask these questions, what is happening is our subconscious mind is listening to our emotions, because this is how our subconscious mind works. It listens and it hears and it understands emotions and feelings, not words and thoughts, okay? But the words and the thoughts, they will generate the feeling and they will generate the behavior. And this is where the subconscious mind is focused on, the feelings and on the reactions that we have. So if my question is always formulated in this way, because my emotion is negative, my subconscious mind will think that this is exactly what I'm looking for, and will keep on bringing those feelings again and again in different instances, in different ways. But at the end of the day, My subconscious mind is answering my question the way it understands, because it understands feelings. So instead of asking myself, why does this keep happening to me? Why don't I ask myself, what am I learning here? What is the lesson that I should pick up from this? Show me the lesson. And guess what? You will be shown the lesson. You will see the lesson. You will know and you will understand. And like I always say, awareness is 50% of the problem solved. If you are aware, you are already 50% past the problem. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. Tell me in the chat if this makes sense, or if you are resonating with this or not. Now, what I want you to, because I just spoke about awareness, these are the tips I'm going to give you today to remind you that you are the one in control, and to remind you to take that control back, because we give our control without knowing. But now that we know, we want to actually be able to work with that control. We want to learn how to master that control so that we are in control 100% of the time. What we want to control here is our emotions, our desires, our future. Consequently, what we want to control is the now, really, not really the future. Because if you control the now, you will control the future, will be controlled consequently. The only thing is that as we go through life, unfortunately, most of the time we live in the past. And when we live in the past, guess what's going to happen? We're going to replay that, anything that happened with us in the past is going to be on a replay mode, and you're going to be living that past today in your feelings, while it has already gone long time ago. So when you, like, let's say if you are today, if you feel always anxious and tensed and angry with life, and you don't really understand why. And if I ask you, for example, why are you angry? Then you might say, I'm angry because that person treated me bad. Okay, when did that happen? 5 years ago. Like, really? You have been living with that anger for 5 years. Why would anyone want to do that to themselves consciously? Nobody wants to do that for themselves consciously, but because we are most of the time coming from that autopilot system, which is our subconscious mind, we don't even know what is happening. And the minute somebody points it out, you're going to be like, whoa, hang on, what happened there? That's so true. And why am I even thinking about it this way? You see how awareness is important, and how much awareness can shift your mindset from being under the spell to being above and on the deck, and just making sure that you can see the whole ocean, and that you can lead that ship, which is your life and your body and your whole existence, really. So the tip that I want to give you today, so that you always remember, yeah, I'm reading a comment. I will read your comments at the end, because I don't want to be distracted now. So I'll read the comments at the end, and I promise you I'll answer them. So let me give you the tips that you can really use for yourself to get out of the autopilot mode and really start living your life from your own desires, from your own wants, from your own experiences, from your own control. You want to be in control. and you are in control. You just don't know it because your subconscious mind is yours, by the way. It's not someone else's. So if your subconscious mind is in control, that means that you are in control. You're just not conscious about it. You want to know what are the things that subconsciously you are doing that are causing you to live your life the way that you really, that's not the life that you dream for yourself. That's not the life that you want for yourself. The minute you start asking yourself these questions, like, is this really what I want in my life? Is this really how I want to live my life? And you start understanding that, okay, this is happening. It's not because I want it. It's happening because something else is making it happen. What is that something else? That something else is your limitation, is everything that is happening in your subconscious mind that you are not aware of, that is actually leading your life. Like, for example, when I want to give this example because it makes so much sense. So when I was little, okay, my mother used to force feed me. I cannot forget these instances when I used to be crying and I really didn't want the food, and I was used to be force fed all the time. And her excuse is, I'm doing this because I love you and I want you to grow and be big, become big, you know? As a child, what a child will do with this information basically is it will take the information and put it somewhere in your subconscious, in my subconscious mind, that every time love exists, there's gonna be hurt related to that, because love and hurt, they come together, right? And what happens with this kind of limiting belief, the minute that when we create it for ourselves, the minute we become older and we are in our normal life, we start having experiences where love is always hurtful, but we don't understand why. But when we start asking the questions, and when we start, like for me, when I started remembering and when I understood that this is the association that I did as a child between love and hurt, because my mother used to tell me that I have to do this because I love you. Because I love you, I'm hurting you. You know, that was the logic that as a child I understood. So for me, when I grew up, every other relationship I had was supposed to be harmful to me so that I feel loved. Does it make sense? Let me know if you resonate with this, or if it makes sense to you, you know, that this is how I considered relationships to be, because that's what I learned when I was a kid. My core belief was this, and it's not the right core belief, because that's not how the way love is supposed to be. Love is supposed to be beautiful. Love is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be happy. It's supposed to be charming. You know, it's supposed to be romantic. It's not supposed to be hurtful and harmful. So let me give you the first tip. As I said, awareness, 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 people. So what you want to do is, I want you to be with yourself as much as you can. And whenever you feel there's something happening that is like there's a pattern of negativity or something that is happening in your mind that makes no sense, or that is going to cause you some hurt or something like that, what I want you to do is I want you to notice these patterns. I want you to notice, and I always say, okay, I don't have one now, but yeah, I do. So always have like a notebook or something with you, wherever you are, wherever you go, always have a notebook. And whenever you go through something, stop, take that notebook out and start writing down the things that you are feeling or the things that you are thinking. And stop and ask, okay, what is happening here? What are my thoughts? Why am I thinking this way? What is the trigger for this? Any question that will come to your mind, really, there are no right or wrong questions here. The fact is, or the matter of the fact is that you want to stop and ask. You want to stop and ask your mind, why are you thinking this way? What is happening? Tell me. What is the root of this thinking? And guess what? Your mind will actually answer you. What you want to do, though, the one thing that you want to do is you want to do this in, and I'm going to talk about mindfulness in a bit, but you want to do this when you are really kind of relaxed. And I know that sometimes it's very difficult, like when you are going through something, you cannot really just be relaxed, you know, don't, Mason, really, what are you thinking about? What are you asking us to do here? It's impossible. If I'm pissed off, or if I'm angry, or if I'm, you know, unhappy, I can't be relaxed. Let me tell you something. If you start writing things down, you will calm down. I have experienced it myself. Even if at the very beginning, you might be still emotional, you might be still angry, but then you want to let this out. You want to let it happen. You want to let it go, you know? And even if you are crying, maybe sometimes you are writing and you are crying, let's say, keep on writing. The tears will dry and you will become more serene and you will become calmer. And then you will notice, as that happens, how whatever you are writing starts changing. That monologue starts becoming different. It's very interesting, but it's very true. So this is a tip that I want you to keep with you all the time. First of all, I want you to keep the notebook with you all the time. Make sure that you have one no matter where you go, even a small notebook like in your bag or in your laptop bag or whatever, wherever, or in your pocket for the men out there. So just keep that small notebook with you and start writing things down. And what I want you to do is, when you write those thoughts that are coming and those patterns that you are noticing, I want you to ask yourself the question, where is this coming from? Or the question, is this mine? Is this coming from me? Because, you know, sometimes, not sometimes, when we are living our life, we are being conditioned every single second of our life. We are being conditioned by what we hear. We are being conditioned by the media. We are being conditioned by social media these days. We are being conditioned by what we are taught at school. We are being conditioned by our parents. We are being conditioned by the society. We are being conditioned 24/7 if we allow it, right? So, and even if you allow it, you want to allow the proper conditioning. If you want to really work, like for me, when I was working on myself, I allowed conditioning. Yes, of course I allowed conditioning, because I looked for the right conditioning that was the right conditioning for me to elevate, for my soul to elevate. And yes, I accepted it, because that is how the mind also learns. That's how the subconscious mind learns. Conditioning means basically repetition. Conditioning and repetition are the same thing. And as we know, repetition is the mother of all skills. So whenever you want to learn something, you have to master it so that you say that you know it, right? So the same thing applies with your subconscious mind. If you want to teach your subconscious mind something, you want to repeat and you want to condition your subconscious mind. But most of the things that we've been conditioned to do throughout our life are not things that we decided that we want to be conditioned this way. They just happened. They came to us because this is where we live. This is the environment that we were born in, and this is the society that we came to. And we were just absorbing everything that was coming our way, right? Now, my point here is, you want to choose conditioning, but you want to choose it. You don't want it to be imposed on you. You want to be very aware of the conditioning that is being imposed on you. And if it's not the conditioning that you desire for your life, it's not the conditioning that will make you better, or that will move you forward, or that will shine you from within, you don't want that conditioning. You want to say no. You want to accept that this is your choice, and your choice is not to use this kind of conditioning. I want this kind of conditioning. This is where I'm going to go. I'm going to learn. This is when we decide to go through our self-development journey, that's exactly what we are doing. We are accepting that kind of conditioning. When it took me 5 years to do a lot of work on myself, and all of that was done very consciously, because I took that decision and I said, okay, I'm gonna let myself be conditioned in that way, through with these people, with that person, with that person. I made that choice. They did not impose themselves on me. They did not impose their conditioning on me. I made it consciously with my own mind. I took that decision. And I did it with full awareness. And this is what you want to do for yourself as well. Be fully aware. So that's why awareness is key when we are going through our life, and when we want to move from the autopilot to becoming the captain of this ship that is our life, and to become the owner of this, everything that we want to do in our life. So that's my number one tip for you today. Right. My second tip for you today is mindfulness. Now, what does mindfulness really mean? When we talk about mindfulness, what we're talking about is about being present. Like I said just earlier, I explained about that person who is always angry and they don't know why they're angry. And when we ask them why they are angry, they refer to an incident that happened to them 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago. It's never something that is happening right here, right now. And this is how smart our subconscious mind is. And this is how, it's literally like a supercomputer. So if I am sitting here now and I'm saying, if I want to sit here now and I remember that incident from 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to feel the exact same emotions. Because remember, our subconscious mind does not understand words. Our subconscious mind works in emotions. So when we are talking about that incident, we are triggering those memories, and those memories are going to trigger those exact emotions that happened to us in that exact time, and we're going to be feeling like this now. Do we want that? No, nobody wants that. I don't want to live with my 10 years experiences, like things that happened with me in my life in 2000 or in 2015 or even in 2023 in January. I don't want those experiences. They have passed. I want to be living in the moment. I want to be savoring the moment. I want to be in the here, in the now. And for me to be able to do that, I will use mindfulness. This is why mindfulness is important. So mindfulness, basically, I'm going to give you a couple of tips to be mindful or to live in the now. There are so many different things that you can do, but one of them that I like a lot is the breathing. It's called the mindful breathing. So what you do basically is you breathe and you really focus all your attention on your breath. You literally focus on how you are feeling when you are breathing in. What are the sensations that are happening when you are breathing in? What are the sensations that are happening in your body when you are breathing out? So all of this, it's a very simple exercise, and it's only a breathing exercise, but it has so much help. It gives you so much help to be present in this moment, because your focus is what makes this moment happening here and now. Like now, I am totally focused with you. I know that this is happening right here, right now. Okay, I'm not using exactly mindfulness, but I am in this moment and I'm focused in this moment. Now, when we are under stress or when we are overwhelmed, or sometimes when we are having anxiety attacks, like anyone who has an anxiety attack, you would see somebody would come and tell them, okay, breathe, breathe. Why? Because when we focus on the breath, our subconscious mind is literally here, because also our subconscious mind wants to protect us. Our subconscious mind wants to make sure that we are always alive. So when we are doing these exercises, we are literally making everything focused on this very specific moment in time. And this is how we bring ourselves to the now, to this moment. And when we do that consciously, your sensations of the dangers or of the anger or of the resentment or of anything that is not working right for you will be so diminished to the point that maybe they will even go, not maybe, they will, if you do the exercises properly, and if you do them consistently, it will take you seconds to move from an anxiety situation to a calm situation using mindfulness exercises. So mindful breathing is one of them. The second one I want you that you can easily learn is the body scan. So when you do the body scan, it's basically if you are going through something like something that's not right, and you want to relax and you want to feel the now, you can simply do a body scan. And how to do the body scan? You just close your eyes and you command, or you feel like in your mind, your third eye, and or your, let's call it your mind's eye, okay? Because this is how your mind depicts everything around it. Let's call it your mind's eye. So with your mind's eye, what you want to do is you want to do a scan for your body. You will just simply close your eyes and you start moving from your head. You take your time, you look around, you see if there's something. And by the way, sometimes you will see things, sometimes you will hear things, sometimes you will feel things. Like, for example, for me, I always feel things. Like I feel tingling, or I feel like pressure, or I feel like sometimes a relaxation somewhere. So it depends really. Everyone has their own way when they do these exercises, but the point is that this is what you want to do. You want to relax, you want to close your eyes, and you want to think that you are doing your body scan. Feel like it's an x-ray, right? Go from your head, then go down. Like if you have a problem, sometimes maybe you feel your eyes are not really okay, you want to go and check. Maybe there's something there. Your subconscious mind will tell you, by the way. Do those exercises, and you know, don't, what I want you to be aware of, if you have never done these things before, I don't want you to be discouraged, because what happens is, because we have so many limitations that are lying in our subconscious mind, when we start waking them up and when we start doing these exercises, there's going to be resistance from our subconscious mind. There's going to be resistance from our ego. Our ego is going to tell us, hey, hang on, where are you taking me? I don't even know what that place is. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I'm happy where I am because I know everything about where I am, you know? But at the end of the day, we want to always remember that we are the ones running the show. We cannot let or allow our ego or our subconscious mind to be running the show. We want to be in control. We want to be running the show. And if we want to be running the show, this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to fix those limitations that are coming from the subconscious mind. And to do that, we want to be aware. We want to use mindfulness so that we really live in the moment, so that we do not allow ourselves to be stuck in those places, to be stuck in the past, and to be stuck in whatever emotions, whatever experiences we've had 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago, depending on where we are in our life today, right? So remember those things, the mind, the body scan, and the breathing exercise. There are so many other mindfulness exercises that you can do, but these are the ones that I want to focus on today because of time limitation. And when we are aware of the now, when we are living in the now, we are taking control. This is how you take control. You know, your subconscious mind doesn't want to be in the now. Your subconscious mind is always lingering in the past, because this is where it feeds from. All the information that is in our subconscious mind is from our past, is from our past experiences, from our past, from wherever the experiences came from, whether they came from our soul or whether we have made them for ourselves, or whether they are things that we just saw other people do and we took them we took them on board as if they are ours, and we are living with them. So our subconscious mind wants to be there. We want to be here. We want to be present. We want to be in the moment. We want to be in control. The third thing that I want to talk about today is taking action. So it's true that, when we start working on ourselves and we start releasing whatever needs to be released from our system, and every single one of us has got different stories. We've got different limitations. We've got different limiting beliefs. We've got different experiences. So every single one of us is unique. We want to remember also that we want to live in our own authenticity. We don't want to be anyone else. We don't want to be compared to anyone else. We don't want to compare ourselves to anyone else. We want to be us. And we want to be living the way us wants to live, right? So this control is our choice. We want to be the owners of the decisions that we make in our lives. We want to be the owners of the decisions, and we want to also be the the leader of this life that we are running, right? So for us to be able to do that, once we have clear indications about everything that we have as limitations, as where we are stuck, how our mind thinks, that awareness that I'm talking about, when we have that awareness, and when we are focused on the now and the here, what we want to do is we want to take action. We don't want to just be aware. It's good to be aware, but if I'm aware and I'm not doing anything about it, I'm going to fall back. If I'm aware of my situations, if I'm aware of my patterns, and then I don't do anything, I'm going to let them happen again and again and again. So what's the use of awareness if I don't take actions? So action is the third tip that you want to always remember, that you want to take action on anything. So when you clarify your vision, you clarify your desires. So that's when you are aware, you are able to clarify your desires. When you are aware, you are able to actually remember what are the things that make sense to you, what are the things that are important to you in your life, what are the things that move you in your life. A lot of us are living our life on autopilot without knowing, and are running it. Well, we're not running it. Our subconscious mind is running it for us. And we're just going with the flow. I'm fascinated that so many people out there don't even stop and ask the question, like, is this really what my life is supposed to be? Is this really how my life is going to happen? Is this really why I'm experiencing this dimension? So that's the awareness I'm talking about. But a lot of people don't know how to be aware. A lot of people don't know, when they are aware, how to figure out what it is that they truly desire, what it is that really motivates them, that really moves them. So when we find that, we want to create a vision, we want to create a plan, we want to create a realistic plan. I want to make sure that you remember this. Our plan wants to be realistic so that we can actually create it. Even if it's a very simple, like if it's a huge plan, if you have something that you want that is so big, what you want to do is you want to actually split it. You don't want to make it this huge plan, because when the bigger it is, the more overwhelmed your subconscious mind is going to be, and it's going to stop you from moving forward. What you want to do is you want to make a realistic plan. A realistic plan can be smaller plans to actually make you reach the bigger plan, but don't jump straight away to the big plan. You want to start small, like to go on a ladder, you have to go step by step. You cannot go on the ladder from the ground all the way up to the last step without crossing all the other steps, right? It's logic. So what you want to do here is you want to make those meaningful, simple and realistic plans for yourself, smaller ones. And why they are important? Because when you make them happen, you celebrate them. And with celebrations, what happens is that your body will feel that excitement and it would want more of it. That's why celebrating our achievements is important. Celebrating our achievements is like telling our subconscious mind that, hey, we did it, let's do this again. Let's do this again. And when I talk about subconscious mind here, I'm also talking about your ego, mainly. All right? When you are doing this exercise for those plans, you want to also remember to check what are the barriers, what are the things. So when you are putting the plan together, those small plans together, you want to also check, might this plan be get stuck somewhere? And if yes, what might make it stuck? What could be the barrier for this plan to not happen? What could stop this from happening, or what could stop that plan from happening? If you already are aware of the barriers, you will be able to remove them. They will stop existing once you are aware of them, because then you will have different choices. You will have the smart way around things so that you don't actually hit those barriers. Makes sense? So, to recap, number one, we want to be aware. And when we are aware, we are already halfway through in charge. Yeah, makes sense? Number two, we want to live now. We want to be, for us to be in control, it has to be now. So when we are in control now, we are not letting the past dictate things for us. This is the only moment that we really own. This is the only moment that we really have, the now, because whatever is past already. And whatever is coming tomorrow, we don't know. It's tomorrow, might not even come, So the only moment that we really have in life is the now. We want to focus on that. And for us to be able to focus on that, we want to do those mindfulness exercises. I gave you a couple. We can talk about more of these later on, but these are the two that really resonate with me and that make a lot of sense to me and that I use personally. So you want to try them out. They're really, really amazing tools. Maybe I can give those as as a freebie, maybe next week or the week after. I will do something like that. And the third thing that we want to always remember, so that we are in control, we want to put plans, and we want to take action. And we cannot take actions if we don't have plans. So the plans are very important for us to take action. And with this, I'm going to open it up in a few minutes for all the questions. I'm going to take a look at the questions that I have. But at the same time, I want to remind you that if you are someone who is struggling with all of this, if you really have difficulties finding out really what is limiting you, really what is it that is causing you to have any limitations in your life, what are those limitations if you're not aware, if you have any like concerns, not concerns, if you have any doubts about what it is that you really desire in your life, do you know or you don't? A lot of people, I find it really very, very interesting that when I ask people this question, like, do you know what you desire? A lot of people don't have an answer. And you know why? We don't have an answer because we never stop. We never take a breath and we never ask, because we are just going with the flow of life as it is coming to us. So we want to take that control. If you are someone who really wants to take that control and you feel like I can be someone who can add value and who can help you in, on that journey, in that very specific path that you will choose for yourself, let me know. All you need to do is you can send me a messenger, you can request for a call, I can get with you on a call and we can talk about your life. What is happening with you? What's the situation that you are going through now? And we will also talk about what it is that you really desire. What do you want? Where do you want to go with your life? How do you want your life to look like? How do you want your life to be? And during the call, I will probably have a lot of tips for you that I can share with you that you can start implementing in your life right here, right now, and live with them and take them as part of your life. Now, at the very end, if I find that you and I have the right, energy together, and I feel like I can really support you, I will show you my plan for you, and I will show you what it looks like to work with me. So that is very simple. All you need to do is book that call. And I always share the call link with my replays. I share it on Messenger. Talk to me on Messenger. Tell me what is going on. Tell me if, and I'll give you the same tips probably, or maybe different tips when we talk face to face, because the face to face dynamics are always different. So this is my invitation to you. If you feel you are in that place, and if you feel like I can help you and I can support you, all you need to do is ask for that call and book that call, and we can just have a chat and see where it takes us. Okay? So that's my invitation to you. I'm going to check the questions now and see if there's anything that I can answer, or if there are things that are very important to mention. Okay. Reliving the past experience is quite harmful. What do we mean by autopilot? So autopilot, Khulud, means that when you are living your life, but you are not in control of it. So your life is, your body, your subconscious mind is leading the way without your knowledge. This is what I mean when I say you're living your life on autopilot. It's like your subconscious mind is the pilot, and it's running the show for you. You get it? Let me know if that makes sense. Associating love with harmful experience is classical conditioning. That's very true. That's very true. I'm happy that, a lot of people resonate with all of this, because unfortunately the previous generations, the generations that are like 2 or 3 generations before us, This is how they were raised. This is how they knew things. And what they did is, I always say they did the best that they could with what they had or what they learned, you know. But I also say that we don't always have to be stuck with that. We have the choice to move forward. We have the choice to change our lives, because we are the control. We are in the driver's seat. This is how you want to look at it. We are in the driver's seat and we are in control. So if I have those beliefs, or if I have that conditioning, it's very important that I realize that I have it. But I also want to remember that I have the power to get out of it. You know, it's going to take some work. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. It does take work, but eventually you will master everything that you want to master for you, that you decide on, not that comes to you from God knows where, you know. I'm just taking a look at this. You know what? I'm going to save those chats and I will address them, because there's a lot of content there. So Khulud, thank you so much for being so active all the time. I feel that you really want to work on these, and you really want to elevate in with whatever you are going through. So I'm so happy that these webinars are helping. And yeah, see, it always resonates. I think that it is the fear of not achieving those desires, or it being rejected when you express it with people you think it's supposed to be there for you. See, Farida, what I want to tell you is, I want to remind you also that it's important that the most important opinion for you is yours. Let me say that again. I want you to remember that the most important opinion for you should be yours. So validation from other people should not even exist for you or me or anyone. You don't need any validation from anyone to exist and coexist with others. What you need to be happy with, or what is important for you, is your own validation, your own acceptance, your own opinion. If you are happy with who you are, truly happy, if you truly love, authentically love who you are, every person around you will love you for that person. And if they don't, it means they do not need to be in your life. And this is part of the exercise. When we do all of this, when you go through your self-discovery and when you go through your self-development, one of the things that you're going to be doing, and it will happen naturally, by the way, you're going to be decluttering people from your life. You're going to be releasing people from your life. You don't even have to release them. They're going to go on their own, because they will see that their presence is not adding any value, is not even required, and your presence in their life will stop having a meaning. And that's why, because you do not see eye to eye anymore, and they are not able to be that imposing on you, so they will just either vanish, or you will just simply, sorry for the word, but you will just simply kick them out. Like I did. I kicked out so many people out of my life because I did not need their presence, because their presence was toxic to me. So at the end of the day, the only and most important person for you in your life is you. And you don't want to really worry about what others think, or what others say, or what others want you to do. You want to start with yourself and love yourself first and foremost. Then everybody else will fall in line. Does that make sense? Let me know. I would love to hear from you if it makes sense to you or not. Now, if you have any more questions, I'm happy to share the answers, but as I can see, please repeat the mindful body scan. Okay, so let's repeat that, and that will be the last thing unless you have other questions. So the mindful body scan, basically, and by the way, you will have access to the replay for this, so you can always replay it again. So you take a deep breath, you close your eyes, and you literally ask your mind's eye, okay, to do a body scan for you. So with your mind's eye, you go start with your mind, you go wherever you want to go, really. There's no, like, I need to start from here or there. You can start from your toes. I don't care. So basically, the whole idea is that you want to be sitting with yourself in this very specific moment, focused on this very specific moment, on the now, and scanning your body. And you will be directed, you will see things, you will feel things. What you want to do, maybe you want to write them down and then ask yourself the question, what is this? What does this mean? What does this feel like? Be in this moment and let that feeling be with you, and you know, let it guide you. Let the body scan guide you to see what you need to see. This is how it works. Does that help? I was just expressing what I used to go through. I get it, Farida. I get it. And I'm happy that you are, you know, aware and you are changing. This is very important. That's like, when you are aware, you will start noticing that change will start happening, you know. That's how awareness works. And I think with that, I want to thank you so much for being with me tonight. I really, really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your focus with me. I appreciate every single question, every single comment, every single reaction. And I will see you again next week, and the replay for this will be out tomorrow. I'll see you again next week. And if you think that there are topics that you want me to talk about, either send me messages or just post something on the group and I'll check it out. And if there are subjects that you want me to tackle, I'll be more than happy to do that. I'll see you again next week. Ciao, ciao.